Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, well then welcome to my channel. I really appreciate you stopping by. Don't be afraid to leave a comment, and if you are interested in being part of a community of women who like to talk about pretty much everything related to the aging process, and men, I didn't mean to leave out men because I do have some male subscribers too, but I think the larger portion of my subscribers are females. But anyways, if you want to be a part of a community like that, then don't forget to subscribe, because honestly, I think most of us have accepted the aging process, but I think that there are a lot of us, myself included, who is not ready to embrace, especially the physical aspects of the aging process, And there are parts of it that can be a little bit disheartening, So it's really nice to feel like you're in really good company. You don't feel like you're alone. It's nice to be able to exchange information and really feel like we're all in this together, and we're all really supportive of each other. And, there's no sense in going down without a fight. So if you're interested in being part of a community like that, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, so in today's video, I'm basically going to be talking about how I reversed the sun damage that I did to myself growing up. And I'm really going to be focusing on the discoloration component of sun damage. And I'm going to show you, and I'm going to tell you the products that I used in order to reverse it. But I do want to tell you that this video is a collaboration with my good friend Anne. Her channel is called Beauty by Anne Marie. She's actually my YouTube bestie, but you definitely need to go check out her channel and her video that's part of this collaboration. She and I did a collaboration actually over a year ago. And in that collaboration, she's actually the only person I've ever done a collaboration with on my channel. But in that collaboration, I showed you guys what a 0.1% Retin A treatment looked like from the day that I applied it to the day I finished shedding. And then she showed what a 13% TCA peel looked like from the day that she applied it to the day that she finished shedding. So if you want to take a look at those videos, I'm going to go ahead and put some links in my description box below so that you can go take a look at those videos if that's something that you're interested in. So needless to say, she and I are very serious about skincare. As a matter of fact, it is the bulk of both of our channels. So I really encourage you to go take a look at her channel. I know that you will not be disappointed. She has some really, really good content, and she has some great suggestions. I pick up on so many of her suggestions. I think I've mentioned her in so many of my videos. It's not even funny because I pick up on so many of her suggestions. So anyways, while we were talking, we both realized that we did a ton of sun damage to ourselves growing up. She was a sun worshiper like I was. She never wore sunblock, neither did I. We baked and fried ourselves in the sun, and then we switched that for tanning beds, and then we were like really religious about going to tanning beds. Needless to say, our skin really paid the price. So like I said, we've decided that we're going to do this collaboration. I'm going to show you some of the products that I used to reverse some sun damage, and that's also what she's going to do on her channel. Now, we've both taken a little bit different of an approach, and so I'm going to be focusing on the 3 products that I think showed the most improvement and that I attribute most of my results to. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, whenever I was growing up, I was major sun worshiper. So I had developed a lot of sun damage at a very early age. I'm going to show you 3 pictures right here, and I was 28 years old when these pictures were taken. And it's one of those things where I had no idea that my skin looked that bad until I saw those pictures of myself. I don't know why it didn't look that bad to me in the mirrors, but when I saw these pictures, it really set my skincare journey in motion. I really decided at that moment that I needed to take control over my skin and that I needed to reverse all the sun damage that I had done. You hear doctors all the time and dermatologists say that more than wrinkles and fine lines, it's actually the discoloration that ages you more. Now in these pictures, I still had very, youthful attributes to myself, fullness in my face and stuff like that. But had I not addressed the discoloration back then, and if I still had it now, it would have only gotten worse because it's cumulative. And I would look twice my age right now if I had all that discoloration in combination with the other aging processes that are taking over my face and everything else, you know what I mean? So there's 3 products that I really attribute most of my success to as far as reversing the sun damage that was done. And like I said, I'm really just focusing on the discoloration aspect. Those 3 products are my 0.1% Retin A product made by a company called Donnell, and it's an alpha hydroxy 20% glycolic acid concentration, and then there's another product called Triluma. And Triluma is a mixture of 0.05% Retin A, 4% hydroquinone, which is a bleaching agent, and then there's a 0.01% of, I don't really remember how to pronounce the name, but it's a corticosteroid, and it's really supposed to help with the inflammation that that product can cause because of the harsh ingredients that are in there, which is Retin A and then hydroquinone. So those are the three that I'm going to focus on today. Okay, so the first product that I started to use in an attempt to reverse the discoloration was Retin A. And I had set up an appointment to have some moles checked on my body just to make sure that I didn't have cancer and stuff like that. And it was at that appointment that I got my first prescription for Retin A. It was a 0.025. It was the lowest that you could possibly get, and I started using that. I didn't see any difference whatsoever. There was no flaking, no peeling, you know, nothing that I had heard would happen. You know, I was warned at that appointment that I might, you know, have some irritation, I might have some flaking, and should that happen, then I should scale back and use it less. Well, none of that happened for me. I guess I must have had, you know, leathery, tough as nails skin or something like that. So I quickly moved up to a 0.005% Retin A. And I say quickly, I think it was maybe a month and a half or 2 months, something like that. It was so long ago because I was only 28 at the time. I'm almost 44 now. So it was quite a long time ago, but it was a real short period of time. So I moved up to a 0.025. I was on that for about 2 months, and I did get the irritation and the flaking right off the bat, and then it just all went away. But I wanted that peeling, I wanted the flaking, I wanted the skin to come off, because I felt like that was how I was going to see improvement in my skin. So I took a trip to Mexico with my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, and I picked up 2 tubes of 0.1% Retin A, and that's what I started using. Now, one thing that my dermatologist did say was that when I got on Retin A, that from this day forward, I would have to always use sunscreen, you know, especially, you know, he specifically warned me that if I was going to be spending any given amount of time out in the sun, that I would have to use sunscreen. Otherwise, I would undo, you know, all the progress that I'd made. So, and he also said, I'm going to have to give up laying out, no more sun tanning, no more tanning beds. That's actually when I kind of switched my membership from a tanning membership to just an all spray, unlimited, you know, spray tan membership. And that's the way that I stayed tan. I was really good about always using sunblock when I was going to be out in the sun. However, I do not remember him telling me that I needed to wear sunblock every day, under my makeup, all that stuff. You know, it was a long time ago. I just do not recall him telling me that. He definitely said that I needed to use it when I was out in the sun. So that's what I did. So back then I wasn't using it. I wasn't using sunscreen when I was running errands. If I knew I was going to be out in the sun for a long period of time, then I would definitely put it on. So I kind of relied just on the sunscreen that was in my foundation, and that was it, you know. So I did that, and the Retin A coupled with the sunscreen, it could not have happened without the use of the sunscreen. Coupled with the sunscreen, I would say I got to a place where I was much, much happier with my skin. A lot of the discoloration had faded. Now, the improvement took, I would say, somewhere around 6 to 9 months. And I was literally peeling all the time. I was so religious about putting that 0.1% Retin A on my skin. I think I was putting it on every other night. And that was all I could tolerate. But I was constantly peeling, constantly peeling for months and months and months. And I got to the point where I didn't want to be peeling anymore. I just was so tired of it. I was happy with the progress that I had made, but I wanted to continue making progress. I just didn't want to do it so aggressively. So I really decided to start scaling back on the Retin A, and I really started using it probably once a week. Sometimes it would just be twice a month. And because I just really didn't want to do all the peeling anymore. I was working a full-time job and stuff like that. I just didn't want to be peeling all the time. So that's when I started using the glycolic lotions. Now, I started with a lower strength of glycolic lotion. I started with the Neutrogena Healthy Skin. I will put a picture of it right here, what I started out with. The third ingredient, or I think it was the third ingredient, was like glycolic acid, but it also had a 15 SPF. So that was good, and I liked it. I didn't see, you know, the shedding or anything like that, which I kind of wanted to see a little bit, you know, just because I felt like that's how I would know that things were happening. But I really did like that product, and I really liked everything that I read about incorporating glycolic lotion into your skincare regimen. Both glycolic acid and Retin A, they're both really good at encouraging collagen production, as well as just sloughing off a lot of those dead skin cells that are really keeping our skin discolored and dull. Whenever you have dead skin cells that are just piling up on top of each other, it's going to make your lines appear deeper and your wrinkles appear heavier, and you know, obviously you're going to have discoloration. So you really want to get products and really incorporate products into your skincare regimen that include things with Retin A or retinol or glycolic acid, things that really just encourage cell turnover so that you can slough all those dead skin cells off your face, so that you're going to be revealing that really rosy, youthful, you know, looking skin. So I was definitely seeing the rosier skin, and my skin was just looking a lot healthier, but I wanted to see how my skin would tolerate a higher strength of a glycolic acid lotion. So that's when I found the Danelle, and I made a video about it. And I'm going to put a picture right here. It's a 20% glycolic acid concentration, and it was labeled back then as head to toe. Now, for whatever reason, it's just labeled like for your body, but the ingredients are all the same, so I still do use it on my face. But back then, that's what I started using. I started using that on my face, and for some reason, and I don't know why, I always neglected my neck and my chest back then. It wasn't until just recently, and I say recently, I actually made a video here on YouTube, and it was about how to camouflage discoloration and under eye puffiness. In that video, my chest looks so bad. I can't even, that video set my skincare journey for my chest in motion, because I could not believe that my chest looked that bad. It was such a giant difference from my face to my chest. Now, to address my chest, I did not want to use Retin A because it's too expensive, and I have to cover so much, you know, surface, that I just didn't want to use the Retin A. So I have been, for the last year and a half, whenever that video was made, I think it's been over a year and a half, maybe 2 years, that's when I started using, I have it right here, that's when I started using the 20% glycolic acid lotion, and I have seen such improvement just by using this lotion and some physical exfoliating. I have really made some major improvements on my chest that I'm very, very happy about. So those are the two that I used the most. Now, we're gonna fast forward to after I had both of my children. Now, after my second pregnancy, I developed something called melasma. Now, if you are somebody who has ever suffered from melasma, you know how daunting it can be. It is terrible. Now, it's quite a bit different than sun damage because it's actually hormone induced. And so it's a little bit harder to treat, but this was it's called the mask of pregnancy, and it's called melasma. And the difference between sun damage and melasma is that melasma is very uniform. Most of the time it's very uniform. Like with sun damage, it's very splotchy. There's dark spots and dark patches and, you know, leathery parts to your skin and just texture issues and stuff like this. With the melasma, it's more just a uniform. It looks terrible. I had it all on my cheeks. I had it all on my upper lip. I practically looked like I had muddy cheeks and like a mud mustache. It was so bad. I was so insecure about it. I tried everything to address the melasma with the same products that I used to address the discoloration to my skin, and nothing worked. It just was not working. It's very tricky to address. So I went to a dermatologist, and he prescribed me Triluma. And Triluma, like I said earlier, is a mix of 0.05% Retin A, 4% Hydroquinone, which is a lightening agent, which is a fade cream, but it's prescription strength fade cream. I think in the drugstores you can only get up to 2%. So, and then it also includes an anti-inflammatory ingredient. So I started using that, and like I said, I had already tried to address it with the glycolic lotion and the Retin A with no progress whatsoever. When I started using that, it took about, and I was very, very diligent, and there was irritation, you know, regardless of the steroid that was in there, there was irritation. I used it for about, I want to say 3 or 4 months. It was somewhere between 3 and 6 months, but I want to say it was about 3 months. And I used it religiously, and it literally cleared all of my melasma. I do not have pictures of me whenever I had melasma. I actually had to use a foundation called, what was it called? It was made by Dermablend, and it was specifically created to camouflage like scars and stuff. It was so thick. It made me break out all the time, but it was so thick, but it was the only thing that would cover the melasma, and I had it so bad. It went all right here. It was terrible. Oh, it was so depressing to see that, you know. So anyways, after about 3 months of using the Triluma, it was just gone, and I watched it fade, and I would literally go from mirror to mirror like, oh my gosh, is it there? Is it not there? Do I not see it? After I finished using the Triluma, my skin literally looked like porcelain because I put it everywhere. I didn't just put it only on the discoloration there. I put it all over my face. It had lightened everything, all my sun. I didn't really have much sun damage left, but it just gave me an overall just very porcelain look. Now, Triluma is another product that you have to be very, very careful with. From that day forward, you will always, if you've ever suffered from melasma and you have a tendency to have like hyperpigmentation, from that day forward, you will always, always have to be very diligent with your sunscreens. Now, I have to admit that up until this last year, actually, if I was just going to run errands or if I'm going to be indoors, even if there's windows in my house, you know, I've always just only relied on my sunscreen and my foundation. I'm not suggesting that you do that. I think that it's very important that we all put sunscreen on daily underneath our makeup, or, you know, I found a mineral powder sunscreen that I really, really enjoyed. But up until about a year ago, I was just relying on my foundation, and that was it. But like I said, I'm not trying to discourage anybody to not wear sunscreen. I think it's very important that you do. Okay, so that is the end of this video. Now, I do want to reiterate that it is very important, especially as we age, that we really try to incorporate products into our skincare routine that really encourage cell turnover and just sloughing off all of those dead skin cells that are keeping our skin and our complexion looking terrible, because that's exactly what it does. It's thundering really hard right now. But, you know, as we get older, and this is one of the things that the dermatologist told me back when I was 28 years old and I was seeing him for the first time, he said that now that you're, you know, getting close to 30, your body's natural ability to turn over cells and to repair itself has really slowed down. So all the damage that I'd done to my skin growing up was all kind of catching up to me because of that. So it's really important, like I said, we need to help our body mimic the processes that naturally occurred when we were younger. That's the only way to try to keep a really youthful appearance. So anyways, I really appreciate you watching. Once again, I do want to encourage you to go over to Anne Marie's channel. She has some great content on her channel. She offers some wonderful advice. I know that you will not be disappointed if you go over there. Check out her video, and don't forget to subscribe when you're there. So thank you for watching. It's Friday night. You guys know what I'm going to be doing on a Friday night. I do it every single Friday night. It's the only night of the week that I actually do this. So I'm going to be having some wine, of course. So before you guys have a drink, just go ahead and give me like a little virtual cheers and, you know, enjoy your evening. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.